In a quaint Spanish town, Vicente walks into a grocery store and covertly pockets several bottles, shielded by his son, Ian, who employs his unique illusionary abilities to divert the cashier's attention. Vicente makes a modest purchase, and as they leave, Ian continues his illusion. However, an encounter with a group of girls distracts Ian, causing him to inadvertently drop the illusion. Back in the store, the cashier notices the missing bottles and grabs a hammer to confront Vicente. In a panic, Ian creates another illusion, mimicking a gun in his hand, but this only heightens the tension. When the situation escalates, Ian unintentionally fires the imaginary gun, injuring the cashier. As she falls, Ian experiences a fleeting glimpse of her memories, and the distant wail of police sirens grows nearer. Vicente hastily ushers Ian into their truck, while police cars draw closer to the scene. In a desperate move, Ian manipulates a side-view mirror to reflect an illusion at the pursuing police cars, making them believe they are on a different path. However, the illusion eventually dissipates, and the police resume their pursuit. Ian questions his father's caution, wondering why they don't use their powers for personal gain. Vicente remains steadfast, evading Ian's queries about who they are. The chase leads them to a beach, where Ian conjures a grand illusion of a hailstorm, causing the police car to crash. The illusion, however, ceases, and the police officer realizes it was a false alarm. The entire incident is captured on security cameras and comes to the attention of the enigmatic Dr. Adriana. The following morning, Vicente and Ian find themselves on an abandoned ship where they clandestinely reside. Ian experiences unsettling dreams of his deceased mother singing to him as an infant, which jolts him awake. Vicente prepares a special birthday breakfast for Ian, sharing a picture of Ian's mother, taken on the day they discovered his powers. Ian expresses a desire to celebrate his birthday at an arcade, longing for a typical teenage experience. Vicente adamantly opposes this idea, causing Ian to vent his frustration by attacking a training dummy. Eventually, he escapes through a window. Back in town, the police officer recounts the hailstorm incident to a bartender, unwittingly overheard by the perceiver. With his powers, the perceiver incapacitates the cop. Later that evening, a special team surrounds the ship and infiltrates it, while Vicente is preoccupied with the TV. Adriana reveals herself, claiming to be from the agency and treating Vicente as an old acquaintance. She seeks information about Ian, resorting to violence to extract it. Simultaneously, they receive a message from other agents pinpointing Ian's location. Meanwhile, Ian enjoys the arcade, but the perceiver arrives in pursuit, followed by two agents. The perceiver uses an illusion to distract one agent, then battles him behind a curtain. As he takes down the agent, Ian hides under a table. Another agency agent mistakenly fires at the perceiver, who nonchalantly walks away, revealing it was an illusion. The perceiver proceeds to look for Ian, but is ambushed by an agency agent who places a helmet on him, blocking his powers. A scuffle ensues, with the perceiver throwing the agent through a wall before facing an entire team of adversaries. Undaunted, the perceiver confronts them and defeats them effortlessly, oblivious to the virtual reality players nearby. Once the agents are incapacitated, the perceiver removes his helmet and resumes the search for Ian. In the meantime, Esther and another agent approach Ian and escort him outside. Adriana waits for him in a van, revealing the existence of other individuals with similar abilities as Ian. Upon showing him that they've captured Vicente, Ian reluctantly joins them. However, upon entering the van, they swiftly restrain him, affixing a helmet and extracting a blood sample. In the meantime, the perceiver emerges and discovers the van has vanished. He creates an illusion of a stroller to cause the truck to halt abruptly, resulting in an accident. Despite considering stopping, the van driver follows Adriana's instructions to keep going, exposing the illusory truck. Ian regains consciousness in the agency facility, where Adriana divulges their shared history. The agency has long battled the conscience, a group controlling powerful figures and dictating the country's trajectory, irrespective of election outcomes. Adriana aims to stop them and restore genuine democracy, urging Ian to collaborate with her. Adriana seeks the formula within Ian's blood, as it could potentially neutralize the enemy's powers. Despite discussing various projections, Ian asserts that creating an illusion of a person is impossible, a claim Adriana refutes. She administers a challenging test, elucidating that Ian's powers are tied to intense emotions. By using emotional triggers, Ian successfully conjures an elaborate illusion, depicting Adriana surrounded by an annoying fly. Adriana then instructs Ian to bring her back to reality while maintaining the illusion, known as a loop. But Ian abruptly ends the illusion, demanding to see his father. Adriana allows Ian to meet Vicente, who warns him about the agency's potential exploitation. Adriana proposes that Ian delve into his father's memories to uncover the truth, revealing this as his second power. Ian delves into Vicente's mind and witnesses a young Vicente working for the agency. Exploiting a momentary distraction, Vicente abducted baby Ian. Adriana attempted to intervene, but Vicente managed to escape. In the present, Vicente collapses as Ian releases his mental grasp, distraught to realize Vicente is not his biological father. Adriana confirms this, but also suggests the possibility of Ian's mother still being alive. Later, Adriana presents the blood test results to an American who inquires about the origin of Ian's powers. Adriana clarifies that he inherited them from his parents, an occurrence deemed improbable since perceivers were believed to be sterile. Ian is the first known person to have been born with these abilities. The American orders Adriana to acquire the formula and dispose of Ian, but she refuses, highlighting Ian's potential to unlock the third power, essential in their defense against the mule, an entity dismissed as a myth by the American. Subsequently, a doctor examines Ian's test results and reacts with a smirk upon discovering that his neuron factor is 204%. Meanwhile, Esther confronts Ian in his room, labeling him as nothing more than a lab specimen and offering him an opportunity to escape. Despite their attempt to flee, they are soon surrounded by guards. However, Esther effortlessly subdues them with a baton and a taser. They manage to take Vicente with them, and as they search for a getaway car, Adriana becomes aware of their escape, initiating an alarm. The agents outside open fire, but Ian drives recklessly, engaging in a heated argument with Vicente about his past deceit. Amidst the chaos, the doctor abruptly seizes a gun and shoots the individuals in the lab, subsequently revealing himself as the perceiver. Using his powers, Ian manipulates the guards into firing in a different direction. Despite a harrowing crash on the mountain road, the perceiver leaves with a knowing smile. Eventually, the trio finds refuge in a motel. The next morning, Ian and Esther spend time together on the rooftop before returning to their room, where they discover Vicente unconscious after drinking. Ian remains determined to uncover the truth, prompting him to delve into his father's mind once more. Within the memory, Ian witnesses Adriana holding a file belonging to patient Kominski, slated for transfer to Poland, and discussing the injection of the formula that night. Ian notices a masked individual with 3 missing fingers behind the driver, leading to a sudden disconnection. Shortly after, Ian visits the bank and tricks the clerk by presenting a random paper, leading her to believe it's a check he wants to cash. Upon discovering the deception, the clerk raises an alarm, prompting Ian to escape with Esther's help. In their motel room, Esther playfully manipulates the money, while Ian anxiously awaits Vicente's return. Hearing a car outside, Ian prepares an illusion, but the perceiver quickly uncovers the truth upon revealing a mirror. A fierce battle ensues between Ian and the perceiver, with the illusions constantly shifting. Despite Ian's attempts to use Esther's taser and a chair, he fails to subdue the perceiver. The perceiver gains the upper hand by delving into Ian's memories, learning of his plans to travel to Poland to seek the scientist responsible for the experiment. Ian loses consciousness as the perceiver releases him and departs. Later, Ian dreams of his mother until Vicente wakes him, reprimanding him for the notoriety surrounding the bank robbery. Their argument escalates, with Vicente offering Ian a choice: to continue his current path of anguish or to leave with him. Ian decides to go to Poland without Vicente. Meanwhile, Adriana and the American track the serial numbers on the stolen cash and discover Ian's purchase of train tickets. In due course, Ian and Esther arrive in Poland and begin searching for the lab. The perceiver eliminates the agents awaiting them and leads the duo to an old, abandoned building. Upon recognizing the room from his dreams, Ian suspects it should be more extensive, prompting him to tap the walls, uncovering a hidden room filled with cabinets and documents. Among the findings is a notebook titled Project Awareness, containing a photograph of his mother. Vicente returns to his ship and is unexpectedly visited by Adriana, who advises him to relinquish drinking and embrace paternal responsibilities. Meanwhile, Esther brings the perceiver to Ian, claiming she is assisting Ian in obtaining the answers he seeks. Ian attempts to use a gun, but the perceiver discerns it's an illusion, proceeding to locate the real Ian among multiple illusory copies. The perceiver corners Ian with his gun and discloses a shocking revelation. He is Ian's biological father. During the Cold War, a scientist injected a formula into various volunteers, including his daughter and the perceiver, granting them unique abilities to serve as spies. When the government planned to eliminate them, the Muli, the most powerful of the perceivers, revealed the ability to control minds, forming the conscience to conceal their powers and live ordinary lives. As agents storm the building, the perceiver instructs Esther to take Ian to his house in Madrid. In their escape, Esther dispatches agents effortlessly, but is eventually captured. Ian manages to flee with Esther, while the perceiver is subjected to intense experimentation at the agency's lab. Despite the Americans' objections, Adriana halts the experiment, but they discover that the formula in the perceiver's body is too diluted for recovery. Adriana emphasizes that Ian remains their sole hope. Once the perceiver recuperates, he requests water, and through the robot's camera, he seizes control of the technician's mind, prompting the technician to activate the robot's weapons, resulting in the elimination of all scientists and observing agents. The perceiver then compels the technician to free him. Meanwhile, in Madrid, Esther and Ian arrive at the perceiver's residence, where they receive a startling revelation from the housekeeper. Ian's mother is alive, albeit in a catatonic state due to the experiments. While Ian attempts to reach his mother's consciousness, the perceiver appears and reveals that a fragment of her mind remains intact. Ian delves into his mother's memories, uncovering the harrowing torture she endured at the hands of the agency. He discovers that his mother embedded a memory in his mind, representing the formula by means of toys. However, when the perceiver attempts to approach the toys, an invisible barrier obstructs him. Ian realizes his mother's desire to protect the formula, but the perceiver's relentless pursuit damages her. The ensuing distress forces them out of her mind, and Ian serenades his mother with a childhood song before her passing. Subsequently, a group of agents surrounds the house, prompting a grief-stricken Ian to unleash his newly awakened third power, compelling the agents to incapacitate each other swiftly. Ian proceeds to coerce more agents to fatally shoot one another, disregarding Esther's concerns. The agents retreat, reporting to Adriana. Ian confronts them, compelling them to kneel with their weapons aimed for self-destruction. Vicente intervenes, cautioning Ian against being manipulated by the perceiver and discouraging him from perpetrating a massacre that he would regret. The perceiver goads Ian to shoot Vicente, but Ian refuses and instead confronts the agency for vengeance. In a tragic turn, The perceiver shoots Vicente, causing Ian to lose control over the group. The perceiver seizes Esther and departs. Vicente implores Ian to delve into his mind, knowing he won't survive the intrusion. The memory reveals that Vicente had taken the baby away at Ian's mother's behest to save him. Following Vicente's death, Ian takes up the gun, pursuing the perceiver, who is found at a neighboring party. A mental battle ensues, with the perceiver manipulating the crowd to attack Ian. Ian taps into his third power, prevailing against the crowd with improvised weapons. Adriana arrives and dispatches the last assailant, ensuring Esther's safety. Ian discovers a loop in his mind created by the perceiver. Overwhelmed by betrayal, Ian inadvertently shoots Esther, but the bullet passes through her, striking the perceiver instead. Esther consoles Ian, and later they lay Ian's mother and Vicente to rest. Adriana implores Ian to choose a side, seeking the formula, but Ian opts out of the conflict, departing with Esther to begin a new life. As they drive away, Ian notices Adriana speaking with the American, but he realizes the absence of the man in the truck mirror, implying a loop in Adriana's mind as well.